Love that virtual yearbook as we get a high-in-the-sky shot of Gulfstream Park live on this Thursday afternoon, August 22nd. I mean, this is a first-rate, state-of-the-art, massive sports complex. The Village here at Gulfstream Park, little South Florida palm trees action, and look at that blue sky off in the distance. Ron Nicoletti, by the way, flying the drone as we speak right now. Weather's terrific. We're ready to start a new week here as we come up over the top of beautiful Gulfstream Park, going strong since 1939. Pete Aiello, Jason Blewett, good to have you with us, everybody.
You want to write down and make me a sign that Ron Nicoletti actually flew the drone there? I'd like to book some action on that.
No, it's Ronnie's actually off this week, actually, if I'm being honest about it. Ronnie taking his annual pilgrimage to Saratoga Racecourse for the Travers, which was drawn, I think, late Tuesday night. Big field, no maximum security. You don't have the other two classic winners, or three of them, in fact. Maybe there were four this year between Country House and the two Cassie horses. But have you been studying the Travers PPs up to this point?
The only thing I know about Saratoga is Antonio Sano won a race there yesterday. I haven't even bothered to look up who it was or who it could have been, but he must be up. Is Gunnevera up there? I shouldn't have asked that on the air, but is that...
I don't think he is with that hoof issue, because he's not running in the Woodward Labor Day weekend, and therein lies kind of the whole craziness of the fact that, you know, you kind of blink and the summer is just about over here. I mean, what, we've got about 6 weeks, give or take, of racing here at Gulfstream before we move over to Gulfstream Park West. But still plenty going on, including a 10-race Thursday, and that'll bring us right into our What's on Tap. We're about an hour away from the first of 10, and let's hope the weather continues, because you saw from that drone shot, it is a lovely, bright and sunny Thursday afternoon. We've got some maiden turf to be had, and I like that 10th race quite a bit, my friend, where Wingman is trying to get back into the win column.
It's kind of the tale of two cards. The depth is, it actually looks like a swimming pool, I would imagine. If you started with the first race, you'd be in the shallow end, and we get significantly deeper as the card goes along. The late pick 5, far more difficult than the early pick 5.
Definitely. There are some good races, basically the 6th through the 10th, which also, of course, coincide with the Rainbow Six. That'll start on this 10-race Thursday, August 22nd, in race number 5 this afternoon. We do have that high 5 carryover in the first, but really, I mean, eclipsing 760,000 plus in the Rainbow left over from Sunday's card. I mean, that is where it's at, and that is front page news here in Hallandale Beach, and I'll be having a ticket coming your way in just a few moments here on the broadcast. For now, though, you're in the hot seat, my friend. And what was the tweet you just sent out? Bad racing luck and bad opinions?
Yeah, that seems to be the way of it when I'm on air. So if you're looking at anything I say, and I say it every time now, and I probably do it again, I'm not going to sit here and poke holes in any horse, because if I do that, the horse is a lock. So if you love a horse somewhere today, just tell me who it is. I'll tell everyone out there that I hate him, and then you'll be all set, because it never fails. I promise you, I'm a better handicapper than my opinions when I'm on the air.
Well, let's try to get lucky in this early pick 5, my friend. Now, this is an early pick 5 sequence that could be a little on the chalky side. Do you agree?
Yes, and do you agree? And for the fans out there, you watched me punch this already, so I already have this in my betting account. It already exists. I've already been debited the $36, but I'm going to go too deep in the first race. I think the two horses in here are significantly above the other two, or the other rest of the field, and honestly, if Cairo Mama improves even a touch, she's going to win the first race and win it easy. The second race is trickier than it looks on paper. I'm going to go 3 deep. You have an opinion that I disagree with, but I actually hope you're right, because if you are, then I'm going to get my long shot home in Cause for Pardon. But the two horses in principle that are going to battle it out are the 2, Robin Take Charge, and the 6, Just Call Me Norman. The third race is a 3-horse field. If I were to miss the third race, I should go and make a sign of this. If the 1, 2, or 3 don't win the third race, I want you to come up and call the rest of the card, because I'll need some oxygen with surprise there. Solid single in the 4th race. He's odds on the morning line. He should be perfect enough, sitting on a big performance. And then the 5th race is actually a race where the favorites don't have to win. I'm going to go 4 deep and hope I can get a price horse, including Chad Stewart, first time out. I'm president of that fan club, so I'll use him, as well as the Averill horse, the Juan Carlos Sevilla animal, and the Dave Fawkes first timer. It's a $36 play. I already have it, Punch, so let's get lucky.
And I can, again, couch, I saw Pete on that Express Bet account and on that app just firing away. I mean, seconds before the phone went down. If again, we need another camera here, maybe break kayfabe or whatever. You know what I mean? I mean,
what we don't need is a camera in the booth. That would have viral videos on a daily basis.
You got that right. Well, I'm glad people enjoyed that Twitter vid I took of you late Sunday. A good race, in fact, with Grand Journey winning the feature, almost the stakes quality feature, and that horse has really been on a good run for trainer Ralph Nix. Shifting gears, opening leg of the Pick 5, Pete, as we start the new racing week here. I mean, you've got this bottom level 10, 3-and-up filly mare maiden claimer. You either have coffee futures on the outside who can essentially stay the trip, or you're like us and you just want the second time starting drop
Well,
down.
the very first thing I look at when I look at any bottom level maiden race here is who sticks out, who's never faced this level, who's never been here at Gulfstream Park. What is different? Because inherently with bottom level maidens in the summer, it's been this way since I've been handicapping races in South Florida. It is a battle of attrition. Horses will run third, then they'll run second, then they'll win. And it's the same cast of characters over and over and over. So if you do have a new face to the division, then that usually is a huge advantage. And not only that, you have a horse in Cairo Mama who took money in her debut. Her debut run has now proved to be a key race as No Se Vende came back to win, as well as the third place horse Miss Miami, who moved to the turf, stepped up to break her maiden, and the winner of that race was a flashy first-timer as well. So Cairo Mama, they're giving up on her, but at the same time, they should get the money here.
Yep, I agree wholeheartedly. 3-7-6 for the boys here, starting the week with if it comes in a very chalky, ice-cold trifecta, that won't pay much in the first. Now we move on to the second. This race can go one of two ways. I mean, the stick out, and we had a somewhat noteworthy scratch. A horse I wasn't in love with per se, off kind of a suck-up third. Moot point now with the absence of the 7 tune-in. You've got essentially 2.5 key contenders in the field. The race undoubtedly goes through, and here's the kicker, though, who I picked. So, I mean, I really don't have a limb to hang on. The 2 Robin taking charge. I mean, this horse is the obvious lone speed to the cows come home. My issue is these horses always seem to be overbet, and does somebody run with this horse early on?
Yeah, but I'll play devil's advocate on that as the horse ran third 2 starts ago behind Grand Journey, who we were just talking about, that beat a stakes quality field on Sunday afternoon. That's not italicized in my PPs. I don't know if it made print for the form or not, but that's information you wouldn't readily have. So this horse is taking a massive class drop off a good effort 2 starts ago. When you take those 2 things into consideration and figure that he's front and center early with Camacho on the lead, which always is a good idea, I see very little chinks in the armor here.
Now, Just Call Me Norman has got Edgard. I'm wondering if Edgard ultimately, I mean, his horse probably isn't naturally as fast in that cruising speed department than the 2 Robin taking charge, but I would imagine Edgard's going to try to stay a little closer for Just Call Me Norman. As that horse has run fine for Safi, he's kind of run the same race time after time, though, as he dips in for 35. Maybe the most intriguing, again, of those 2.5 contenders, if you will, is the 5 Cause for Pardon, who, at least with him, you can walk away from his last couple saying, you know, he's got legit excuses.
And he's running against bears. I mean, Temple's on a roll right now, not of the high-quality level, but Temple is winning races every time he goes to the gate. That's who beat him last time. 2 starts ago, he's getting beat by the same horse we just kept talking about in Grand Journey, and Timmy M., who's a stakes-quality horse for Orsino.
Yep.
Robin Taking Charge beat him 2 starts ago, but the pace flow may be different today. I don't know. I personally think Robin Taking Charge is going to be in front and cruising with a very easy lead.
Well, hope you're right. 2-6-5-4, second consecutive race. We had the ice cold try in the first, ice cold super in the second.
Let's go with the Macho Man 1980s wrestling reference. The cream rises to the top.
Oh, the great Randy Palfa. Let's move on to the third here, my friend. Back on the main track, we run into a situation, I mean, mainly in races 3 and 4. Not a single for you in your early pick 5, but I mean, you've got a real stick out who you're way against here for all intents and purposes. The 2 not regret off that race for Angel Rodriguez off the claim and a fast figure. I mean, sticks out for miles on paper, what don't you like about the horse?
The opening quarter tells the story for me. They went 23-2 in that race. They were tightly knit, and this horse made the lead. Now, I think she does her best work near the lead, and I think the pace will be significantly faster today, which puts her back against the wall, because if tactically she wants the front and my horse is faster than her early, all of a sudden I have a scenario where I'm ahead of the horse I have to beat, who may be taken out of her game. I just thought, you said the fast figure, and I hear you talk, and usually I agree with you 100%. Sometimes the figures here come back too fast to be believed, and there was nothing behind the winner assumed control. That being said, she ran a very good race against winners, adding more ground just last weekend.
You got a mile on Friday.
Yeah, and that means, so that from that standpoint, I get it, but I don't see a whole ton of speed in here, at least not dedicated speed, whereas Bally's Dream ran against a speed buzzsaw who I came on this program and said could not win last time out in Bendita. She jogged. She only won by, what, a 3.5. Well, she was geared down. She was like 9 in front, turning for home. So Bally's Dream under Adamar Santos. Adamar is aggressive, and I like that, and I think that he'll need to be with an inside gate. Folks, we're only going 5/8 here, so there's not a whole lot of inventing tactics. I want to be in front of the big favorite. If I am, I'm in good shape. If they cook up, which is quite possibly a situation, then you have enough and then some who reaps the spoils for a guy who's winning a lot of races and doing it with no fanfare in Marcos Meneses.
Yeah, good rider for sure, and often rides at good prices. I like him coming back a bit later in the day for Von Belsoar. I took the favorite. I get some of your reservations there. Maybe you're going a little overboard, but it's a maiden 10. I got you, my friend. My other issue is, and it's obvious, you got Bally's Dream, who's 0 for 17, and enough and then some, who's 0 for 11.
Only 0 for 3 on the chalk. I got you.
Yeah, no, for sure. Now, we can both agree, though, not that that's anything to really sing the praises of, but your anchor in your early pick 5, and you've got just because of the competition, a real legit favorite who we'll look at last time out in Perfect Enough, who just, getting back to your attrition comment more or less, I mean, this is the kind of horse this time of year on a dark, stormy, and rainy afternoon really ran well in defeat, losing to a horse in Fuzzy Kitten.
Key thing here about this race, the horse who's backpedaling in 5th went up and moved really early, and that sent Raylu into action on the eventual winner, Fuzzy Kitten. Perfect Enough had dead aim on this horse with no excuse not to get by. That's the bad news. The good news is Fuzzy Kitten was dropping out of special weight for Mike Maker. So
3 to 5.
Yeah, and there's really no doubt about the fact that this was much the best winner in the sense that he had to move early and still turn Perfect Enough away. But if there is a chink, he had a shot last time out. But, I mean, you're telling me if he runs that race back, he doesn't win? I mean, it's impossible to think if he runs the race he's run his last 2 races that he doesn't win here.
Oh, they won't know which way he ran if he runs back to that effort last time out. Let's hope the weatherman cooperates a little bit better than early on here, August 4th, when the turf was listed as good. Pete's 7-4, I'm 7-6, and we'll take a little time out. Things do open up in large degree when we come back to talk about the Rainbow Six.
And the Princess Rudy with a quarter-mile left to go. 4 off the top of the turn. Race for the Kathleen O'Connell barn in front by 5 with just 1/8 of a mile to go. And she's turning in this into a runaway. A powerhouse performance. She punches her ticket to the Breeders' Cup and wins by 5.
About 50 minutes out from that Thursday first on this August 22nd. Pete and Jason back with you on this live Thursday edition of Gulfstream Today. And just looking at XBTV, our good friends, we've got Zoe Cadman, who's been doing a great job holding down the fort in Saratoga Springs. And will you be diving in or just maybe taking a look at that Travers and the Travers trappings and trimmings on the undercard?
Anybody who knows me on a personal level or even on a Twitter level knows that I am the catfish. I feed on the bottom. So when the sharks come out and feed on good racing, I back off. I will not be I'll be a fan and enjoying the great quality action from upstate New York, but I will not be a customer. I will have to save my bullets for another target.
Well, your bullets are in, my friend. A $36 early pick 5. The man will be back in just a few moments with a Thursday late pick 5. For now, though, I'll blow up $40, give or take, just under, in fact, at $38.40 using bookends. Basically, I'm too deep in, two-thirds of the sequence, with the exception of race number 7, in which that is a race, and we'll get to it, obviously, that unequivocally centers around Vinny Van Gogh. I don't fully trust him getting a little more real estate and stepping up off a series of recent sloppy track races. I've got some defensive coverage against using Vinny Van Gogh, but I'm 3 deep there. The race I really like today, Ronnie, or I should say, Pete, maybe it's twofold. The 8th, even though I lost my top pick in the 8, give me 20. You've got a number of well-bred horses trying the turf for the first time, and I used Violent Impact on the rail and the More Than Ready homebred for Carlo and King Theo. I also especially, Pete, like the 10th race. That it's just a good field.
Yeah, that's the best betting race on the card by far, race number 10 on the program. We are in a situation where we have one disagreement throughout the entire sequence you just gave. It's race number 6. So if you win, I lose, and vice versa in the first leg of the late pick 5.
Oh, Mrs. Maisel could be a bad drop down, and again, we'll expound upon that in a second. Let's go back, though, to a horse I loved. Elzabe's on board last time out. Didn't think this horse, well, not that he couldn't lose, but felt as though, and he's chasing in the black and white of Averill there, Rich Averill on the outside for Georgina Baxter. This horse ran the race I thought he would. I thought he would improve leaps and bounds off his Tampa form when he was trained by a low percentage barn. Thing is, and unfortunately for the connections and me, and even Raylu, who's back aboard today, this horse met a horse in the wet track, or on the wet track, in Killa D, who was a Rohan Crichton trainer change and dropped out, who got bet. I'm going into this race today thinking that Elzabe's on board. That effort we just looked at in that maiden 40 from late July, probably at that time of the year, wins that condition 9.5 out of 10 times, but he just ran into a buzzsaw.
He did indeed, and I know that you were leveraged to him, I was leveraged to him, but Rich was leveraged more than either one of us to him. So he has money to get back for all 3 of us here today. He does get a key scratch in the 3, who I thought was going to be a pace presence, if nothing more, in a first-time starter that's now out. So that'll help him. I do think he'll be forwardly put into play here today. That maybe was one of the problems, is the Killa D out-sprinted him last time out. I'm with you, though. I'm all about the 1 in the 5th race, but there's some other options here, too.
Oh, without a doubt. And Chad Stewart, a kind of under-the-radar outfit, more or less, based at Tampa during the winter time. I know you're a fan, and obviously they've got a colt by exclusive quality debuting with Miguel Vasquez, which is a little interesting on Gene's World, your runner-up.
Yeah, I remember the mare Brinca. I think he trained that horse as well. And this horse is, like you said, from a barn that flies under the radar. They don't usually win first time out, but I am the president of the fan club, so I'm not going to back down. Two connections that I have a lot of respect for, both on my top play here, the 1 and the 2. 5 is another horse we both use, Dave Falk's first-time starter. Falk's usually puts them where they're supposed to be, so if this horse is supposed to be in for 40, that's why he's in for 40.
Definitely.
I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. This is a tough level to gauge.
I'm hoping the 7 Siesta Moon, speaking of being tough to gauge, will just simply improve off a lackluster debut. Second-time starter today off a layoff of 99 days for Kathleen O'Connell. The wild card in the race, who needs to be mentioned, at least even for a few moments, is the number 4 Grand Union, who clearly, considering this horse for Juana Villa ran so well on the turf last time, yet has been entered a couple of times since on the dirt, including late here Sunday, scratched out of a special weight. Clearly, this is an outfit that wants to run this horse back on the dirt.
Had to be an issue that he ran so well last time out, and we haven't seen him since. There's no shortage of opportunities in South Florida, so that may be a chink in the armor, but that also adds to the wild card label, which I do think is appropriate.
All right, halfway home here, and we start our run from the half-mile pole with 5 down and 5 to go. Flipping on to race number 6, the start of the late pick 5, and Pete, obviously you think the 2, Mrs. Maisel. Oh, I'm inside all the way. You've completely thrown out the Wesley Ward favorite, who's going to be pretty short as she takes a plummet in for 25,000. You've basically, in fact, you've got everybody else in the race outside the 2 inside.
Yeah, and the thing about it is I think that for my money, this horse comes out of a maiden special weight that was a very strong maiden special weight, as it turned out, in the sense that the runner-up and the third-place horses would both come back to win. I don't understand the class drop, and at a short price with an inexplicable class drop, I'm going to try to beat her. This is a tough race, though. I'm going to use the 3 on the strength of the move to the turf. Second-time starter for Joe Orsino. Hyro gets on. The shades go on. Improvement will definitely take place with number 3, Kayla's Tune. The 4, Foxy Lady, is just a toss-in, if I'm being honest. My top play in the race is the 5, La Flamenca. Jimenez for our Navarro. This is a good tandem. They win a lot of races together, and this is a debuting daughter of Handsome Mike. I think that she's going to have a nice trip here, stalking outside of the favorite, who is likely going to be in front. And I'm also going to use the far outside horse. I told you Chad Stewart doesn't win first time. Second time is a little bit different story, although the statistics say I'm wrong. My wallet says I'm right. They improve noticeably from start 1 to start 2. And this horse does come off a race where Rain would come back to break her maiden. I'm expecting a better run from Better Angels, and she'll be a huge number. Too deep in the second leg, I'm like you. I don't trust Vinnie Van Gogh. In the third leg, I'm like you. I think the 1 and the 5 are the key contenders. I'll toss in Tovar E. Tovar. Single is in the 9th race. I'm going to use the 2, first and 3, on the strength of the fact that he wants 1 turn. He doesn't want 2 turns, and now he's back to 1 turn here today off of a dismal performance last time, and he'll be better today. And then spread in the last. I'll use Golden Decision like you. Just the Facts, who I loved the other day before they took it off the grass. La Hinch is a must-use. And then on the outside, Wingman, of course, is a very good, tough customer. So that's a $48 play, a significantly tougher sequence, in my view, in the late pick 5 than the early pick 5.
No, second half of this card is really where it's at, just in terms of intrigue and quality. And look, you might be dealing with a favorite. I really cannot sing the praises or even a big defensive mode here in the corner, the 2 Mrs. Maisel. Now, she was one of 2 original Wesley Ward-trained fillies entered in here, and I had a feeling he would scratch one or the other. In fact, I thought he might scratch the deuce and go it with the 7 here, go it alone with the 7 Laraz. Obviously, I was wrong. The only comment I have on paper, Pete, is why drop with the big question mark. I didn't know where else to go in this race. That's the problem for me.
Yeah, but there's, to me though, in the two-year-old camp, there's enough horses that have licenses to improve. I don't need a proven commodity like Mrs. Meisel if I think I can get somebody to improve. And I do think the 5 is a flashy first-timer from a barn that wins races during this time of year. I also can make a heck of a case for the 8 Better Angels. I think this last race was nothing more than experience. You can see the horse wanted grass, but he left her in. And here, you know why he left her in? It's pretty simple. He doesn't stable here. He ships 5 hours. If the races come off the grass, well, I might as well get an educational run. She ran terrible, I get it, but that was never part of the plan, and now she does have some race experience. And then the 3, Kayla's Tune, who made both of our tickets. I think this horse is going to take a massive step forward. Joe Orsino's second time start, dropping in class, adding the shades, and Hyro on turf. I'm hoping the 3 can stay close to the 2. You're going to shake free here. I'm going to have to catch you.
Now, Cookin' Roses, meanwhile, we'll give you a quick stat on Armando de la Cerda. Mondo had a quiet spring here, maybe quiet first half, if you will, to the summer meet.
He's on fire lately, though.
Oh, my goodness. I mean, he's coming out of a week, and here, this is just Gulfstream Park exclusive over the last 30 calendar days. Picked up a bunch of wins, all at good prices here last week, and he's now 7 for 20 in this 30-day span. Those 7 winners, though, extrapolating those numbers a bit more, those 7 winners have all occurred since August 4th. And when you just think about the fact that that wasn't that long ago, 18 days ago, and we only run 4-day racing weeks. I mean, you're dealing with the barn who obviously is just going great guns.
That's the good news. The bad news is this horse is coming out of a suspect maiden race into what I think is a tougher field, so I'll let her beat me.
All right, by Maltese Dog, who did win on synth and turf and the dam herself. Although a better dirt horse, she was a minor winner on the turf as well. Let's move on to the 7th, my friend. We can move on to Vinnie Van Gogh, who's going to be a clear favorite, and he is very much the centerpiece to this race. And here he is, wet track aside. This was kind of almost on paper, almost a fait accompli. I mean, this horse after the surface switch, and this was a Twilight Friday, and he's obviously in front in the bright colors and the white blinkers. This was a card in which we had one of those Noah's Ark type storms midway through. The later races came off, and he only had to face 3 horses. What do you make of him on the rail going from 5 off, really beating nothing to going 6.5.
Yeah, that's the thing about it. And he's going to take money because a lot of people are going to see, oh, he just won easy and forget that he only beat 3 horses and did it as an odds-on favorite. And listen, I get it. I used him, but I think he's beatable also. The thing about it is I have to trust that Barboza is going to have this horse as good as he was 2 and 3 starts ago. And if he is as good as he is 2 and 3 starts ago, I do think he's the controlling speed in here. I could be wrong about that. High Rolling Dude may have something to say about that. You used him on top.
I used him on top, and maybe the numbers for Von Belsor of late aren't as crazy otherworldly as the De La Cerda stat we just talked about, or span of starters. But I've noticed an uptick in this barn. It was a consistent winner down here to begin with, but from Salsa Dancing, who paid about $75 last Friday. Matty Salsa. There was another horse here Saturday who I liked early on.
That's the one that got beat a dirty nose at 10 to 1.
Yes, and ran and did all the dirty work too, man. That was, but to me, looking at those 2 efforts at what turned out to be very juicy mutual odds, I think you're not only dealing with a barn who's going good, you've got a horse who's obviously in a good groove too.
I get it. I used him as well. I think Totono's an interesting horse. He won that race that even I couldn't see last time out. He did it in an impressive fashion, and he also made the lead in there, but don't think he's going to be any part of the pace here today. That's actually what I like about him. I think he's the horse that maybe can pass some if the top horses do too much too soon.
All right, race number 8, Maiden Turf here. And we're up in class as well. Now, a little bummed. I had originally liked the 8, Give Me 20. With that horse out, I scratch in. And you've got the 2 well-bred, at least aesthetically speaking, horses for the turf. And the number 5, King Theo, is by More Than Ready. And let's show you some Blue It's Bullets with Pete's top pick, and you can elaborate on the 1, Violent Impact. There are so many of these pricey, well-bred Marcassi firsters. They're kind of, as a whole, tough to gauge. They all don't win, but it seems more often than not they all run pretty well. And I do like this horse. Didn't sell for all that much money as a weanling. Later was pinhooked as a yearling for $370,000. You've got a Dam. Although she was good on dirt, she did win as a 2-year-old, and it's a very eclectic type family in terms of just winning on dirt, turf, and synth. Christian Torres will ride this horse.
Yeah, I just have to trust that Cassie's going to have him ready. He seems, like you say, to have a barn full of these horses that can really run a ton, and he's putting them where they belong, so I'm going to trust that he knows what he's doing, and he's won a heck of a lot more races training than I have.
Yep, no doubt. Me too. Now, More Than Ready AP 500 is the immediate pedigree, or some of the names there, regarding the 5, King Theo, who is supposed to improve, if nothing else, just being a More Than Ready, hitting the weeds this afternoon. I mean, this horse is supposed to like the grass.
And he wants more ground. I don't think that's even remotely debatable either. So you get a surface switch that you know he's going to like. You get ground addition that you know he's going to like. Hey, listen, this is a 2-year-old race. Those are 2 good, really good things to hang your hat on.
Definitely. Tovar, worth a look if you're going 3 deep here.
Yes, absolutely. I think, as you like to say, he's dirtied up a little bit. We know what he is. You can throw the race against Chance It Out for a variety of reasons. His last race was a good one. It comes against a suspect field of maidens, at least in my view. Mr. Sesko won it. Causalistic was a good second.
I love Tovar last. I mean, I felt as though after getting bet off the board against Liam's Lucky Charm and then just having his doors blown off by Chance It, that was the spot, because there was just an indifferent sort of amount of dirt form going in, or overall form, and he ran okay, although at least on Beyer the race came up pretty fast.
I do say, in his defense, I think the plan all along with this horse, and I remember liking him on the debut, going, wow, this horse wants a ton more ground. He's finally there. Now he gets 2 turns here today, and it looks like Gustavo wanted to get him there all the way along. You can see he didn't stick around with their short distance races. He's stretched him out every time he's run, including today. I think he's sitting on a big performance here, but he does have some horses to beat.
And he's got some foundation, and he's got a Misael Jaramillo, who will spend the next couple of days with us here at Gulfstream, and then it's on to the H. Allen Jerkins, who coincidentally trained Political Force, the dam sire of Tovar. What do you think of Chancelot on Saturday?
French politics, by the way, ran here, so we have angles on both sides of that.
Well, that's pretty cool. All right, ain't our first rodeo, my boy, that's for sure. Let's move on to the 9th, our last dirt race on the card, and I know Dave Fox, who's a great guy, got a mention earlier a couple of times. I think he's got a couple of firsters running earlier in the day. Good things come in 2s, and this is a race that David seems to have a very strong hand at and in, due to the presence of the drop down 1st and 3, and the 3 So Nifty. But like you, and I like first and 3 last time off that good third against Ice-T and Squeeziatos. He'd never tried. It was really like he just shut off after hitting that first clubhouse turn.
To me, I don't think he wants to go that far, for one. I don't think he was a huge fan of the way the track was. And honestly, I think he bounced. I mean, he earned a huge figure 2 starts ago, and he deserved to get that figure because he ran against Ice-T, who's an older horse that will be one of the favorites in the Saturday feature race. I mean, this horse has got a ton of alibis, but at the same time, don't make too many alibis for him because he's going to take money, and, you know, we have enough formidable favorites.
Oh, indeed we do. I think Jay's got him 4-5 on the line. He's got
That's a little bullish.
Yeah, he's got him mega short. And I think the 3 So Nifty, the other Fox horse in the race, he may have been taken out of his game last time going to the lead. And I felt as though with Rayo My King and the 4 Beau Trace, So Nifty was going to be a bigger price than his stablemate first and 3. Might be able to just naturally drop back to more of a stock mid-pack kind of a trip for him. I'm going to go all Dave Fox here at 2-3. You're going to split them with the 5 Noontime Gem, who did beat Company Store, who's okay.
Yeah, and Hip Hip Jorge, too, I think. Or no, Danzar. That was the other horse Mark Cassie had. I knew Cassie had one in there. Flashy first-timer. Now, he did that, and he did it off the shelf, too. So, you know, he's a horse that really, we don't know how good he is. He could be better than he was last time.
And it does feel like J.C. Perez Jr. I mean, his just familiarity or frequency in the PPs. He's got a number of horses beginning today through the weekend. We run 12 on Saturday. He's got a few contenders late in the day. I just finished that card, but he's a name we might have to acquaint ourselves with moving forward.
Indeed. Yeah. Speaking of acquainting, we're acquainted with a lot of the horses that we'll see in today's 10th race, which, by the way, is the best betting race by far on the program. I'm curious to see. I know we're in the same section. Yeah, we're the same section, different row. You're going horse. Who would you got on top?
I took Farley on top.
Farley?
Who we'll talk about in a second. He's kind of a stab. If I'm being honest, he's a long shot stab. I got something to say on him. In fact, I think I got a couple of good nuggets to say. Here's Wingman, who if this horse can get back into the win column, and this is 2 back, by the way, his last turf race. He had beat me back in June, sloppy sealed track. And like a lot of people, I thought he would not mind getting on the dirt last time out. It wasn't sealed, and perhaps it wasn't wet enough for him. He's back to what he is very good at, and that is getting on the turf. And it's just his evolution and just this run that he's been on for just every time he runs, it seems like he gets claimed. He's turned into one of my favorite horses currently running here at Gulfstream Park this meet. What do you make of him going out for Bob Hess off the claim?
The only thing I can say negative about him is the only thing is the post. He's just going to have to try to work over from the outside draw. He's not a horse that comes from last, so it's not like he can just suck back there. He's going to have to use some speed to get over. That's the only thing, and it's not a big thing either.
Now, you can talk over the Golden Decision replay, and this is his last start, and he ran giant, and he moved up. We're pulling this from the middle portion of the far turn because I wanted everybody to see just how good this horse was with this 4-wide slingshot attack to the front end. He'll drift over once they straighten away, but, man, he earned every inch of this win last time out for Peter Walder.
And by the way you say that, I think you appreciate the significance of this the same way I do. With the exception of him and Grand Nanuko, nobody wins with this move. It sounds good. Sometimes it looks flashy, and then they get in the lane and flatten out. This horse did not flatten out, and Walder has done a great job managing this horse since he claimed him. He claimed him off low-profile connections and got a 9-1 win off the claim. Then he tried him against the divisional leader, Salute the Colonel. His race 2 back doesn't count. It was off the grass, and this is his race after that. So he's done a really good job with this horse. He's just too consistent for me not to use.
And he's got the rail. He does look solid. This kind of an old school Peter Walder feel to Golden Decision on the rail. Now, Farley's going to have to, and he's going to be a good price, but he's going to have to run the best race of his life, which up to this point he did, and knocked my socks off. My jaw was on the floor with how well he ran 3 back on July 5th. I'm going to attribute his non-effort behind Wingman to just post 11, 4 wide, 5 wide around the entire turf course. And he's
back
not,
in 9 days.
And back in 9 days, thank you very much. And he's not a dirt horse. I'm hoping he's not a one-hit wonder, and I get that's part of what could make him a bit of a trap. But again, with Edgar getting on and likely getting around 10-1, give or take, I'm going to take a shot with him.
No argument. I mean, that's a good case. And he, like so many horses on this program, lost to Grand Journey, who we think a lot of.
Definitely. We'll take a little time out, my friend. You're up next. In fact, don't wait all that long. You won't have to wait all that long. Pete's got those scratches and changes, and good luck in that early pick 5, pal.
I'll need it.
All right.
The best chance for success begins with a solid foundation. At Hardacre Farm, early personal one-on-one care starts the journey to becoming a champion. Bred to leading stallions, our mares represent the highest standards. Hardacre Farm's signature in the breeding industry. Based in Ocala, Florida, breeder and owner Amy Tarrant has inspired excellence throughout her entire career. In your quest for success, start with Hardacre Farm, breeding the champions of tomorrow.